Greetings, Tuskegee and surrounding areas. I am Elaine C. Harrington, Education Chairperson of the Carver Festival. That is the George Washington Carver Arts and Crafts Festival, which will be here in Tuskegee on Saturday, May 9th, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And if you are listening, please plan to come to Tuskegee to the City Square on Saturday, May 9th. Keep in mind, however, that the festival is in commemoration of the legacy of the renowned scientist and artist, Dr. George Washington Carver.
This will be our 6th year of co-sponsoring and having the George Washington Carver Arts and Craft Festival out on the Tuskegee Square. We have a variety of cuisines that will be cooked up and served. We also have the arts and wares, we have the jewelry, we have clothing, you name it, it'll be out there. We have woodwares and we have ceramics. Come out and do your shopping for Mother's Day. We have invited the vendors here to participate in, they are coming to help celebrate Dr. George Washington Carver, but they also need to be compensated for their attendance coming to share what they have with us.
This year, the parade will kick off the festival at 9 a.m., starting at the Burger King on North Main, following down to the RBC Bank, around down to Elm Street, and back to Montgomery Road. We are going to have horse and wagon like George Washington Carver did around these streets of Tuskegee. They are going to be leading off the parade with our friends of Carver. We have several people in Tuskegee and the surrounding areas, including Montgomery and other places, that have contacted me and said that they will be with us in the parade. After the parade, we will be blessed with spiritual singing starting around 10 o'clock. So come on out and join in. We're going to praise the Lord from 10 until 1. At 1 o'clock, we're going to reach out to the other crowd. And we're going to have Kendrick Ross, Angela Harrison and Jerome Temple, Guitar Slim from Montgomery, Alabama, Stan Chili Cook from Union Springs, Alabama, our own Norris Dates, and Nathaniel Knight, better known as Grasshopper, will be doing our DJ. So we're going to have fun all day. So come on, be here and patronize our vendors and get your Mother's Day gift. Thank you.
I am just so excited to be a part of the Chamber of Commerce this year. This is my first year being a part of it. And I am just excited because students are a part of me. The students are involved in this festival through their exhibits of posters, dramatic poetry reading. They will be doing essays and the original poetry. And they are excited. We saw the excitement in them when they did the balloon launch. So we know that they are ready and fired up to go. And we're asking that the parents come out, support them, stand with them, and let's just make this a great day because Dr. George Washington Carver is worth every moment.
First of all, I want to thank Mrs. Anderson, Mrs. Patton, and Mrs. Galladay for giving you some of the important events of the George Washington Carver Arts and Crafts Festival. This year we are really focusing on commemorating the legacy and the life of Dr. George Washington Carver. Our theme for this year is Dr. Carver's Voice, Resonating in 21st Century Science. We've selected this particular theme because, as you know, everybody now is talking about green. Well, Dr. Carver was talking about green way back at the turn of last century. We're talking about recycling. We're talking about many things that the environmentalists have finally caught on to that Dr. Carver had the vision for years ago. So we want to listen for, we want to watch and see how Dr. Carver's legacy is still alive today in the 21st century. Another important aspect of this festival, we have contacted several friends and acquaintances of Dr. Carver. I was amazed when I found out how many people in Tuskegee were actually around when Dr. Carver was here. We have former students of Dr. Carver. We have people who worked in the lab with Dr. Carver. And so these friends of Dr. Carver have agreed to come, and they are going to be seated in the gazebo, and they are going to give memories of Dr. Carver. For an example, Mrs. Melanie Robinson was the nurse of Dr. Carver at the time of his death. And she's going to give you some very interesting anecdotes about him as a patient. Dr. B.D. Mayberry was one of the individuals who wrote extensively about Dr. Carver. And then we have two grand marshals, Mrs. Amelia Boynton Robinson, who was around at the time of Dr. Carver. In fact, it is my understanding that she was a student of Dr. Carver. And we also have Mrs. Naomi Adams. Now, Mrs. Boynton is 97 years of age, and Mrs. Adams just had her 93rd birthday. So you see, we have history right here in the city. We have an honorary Grand Marshal, Mrs. Elaine Freeman Thomas. And everybody who's been around in Tuskegee, you know Mrs. Elaine Thomas and the work that she has done with the Carver Foundation and the Carver Museum. They are going to be our special guests, along with many other friends and acquaintances of Dr. George Washington Carver. Thank you.